これ大丈夫かな、これでいいのかな。
一応見る最初だけ。なんか赤いのついてる。
じゃあ大丈夫だわ。ちょっと待って、ガクさんがひょこって出たからちょっと面白かった。Now we will have the debate march. The topic is Japan should abolish capital punishment. The members of affirmative side are Mayu, Kushun, Gaku, Ai-san. The members of negative side are Ichiro, Amiel, Hinako, Konatsu. Now we will have the affirmative side constructive speech for 4 minutes. だよね。頑張れ。
I'm a speaker of affirmative side.
Let me start my speech とか言ったらふって押すから。そう気分悪い。
なんか持ってる。
そういうことか。
ごめんなさい。
一応あった方がいいよ。
You have 4 minutes.
Let me start my speech. We believe that Japan should abolish capital punishment. 81. Saving innocent people from the false accusation. Present situation 1. We do have a death penalty as a capital punishment. It never saves people after the execution, but there are 125 criminals waiting for the execution now in Japan. 2. We can't say that there is no mistake in trial. Even if the process of each trial would be improved, humans could still make a mistake. It's clear that false accusation will never disappear. 3. Japan has an obscure system of the petition for trial. According to the Ministry of Justice, they had executed the prisoner Ishikawa in July 2017. Actually, he was requesting the trial. 4. It's so serious because we may kill innocent people as a way of crime deterrence effect. After our plan, people who was innocent will not be killed by the nation. Nishida, who is in Tokyo Second Lawyers Council, says that no punishment for innocent people save not just prisoners but also every citizens. Also, prisoners can pursue their sentences in their trial, which lead to the true evidence. In fact, innocent people will not be killed by the nation and criminals take a suitable punishment. 82. Getting on the world floor for improvement of relationship. Present situation 1. It's gradually including the countries which abolish the death penalty. According to Amnesty International from 1991 to 2000, the number of the country has increased 55. The floor of the world is hearing for abolishment of death penalty. To Japan is requested to abolish the death penalty. The European Union, which shares the fundamental policy with us, officially made a statement that Japan should start a thorough discussion about it. 3. As Japan will not listen or answer the request from foreign countries, Mayu says that while staying in the nation doing the death penalty, we are getting behind from the world flow that will make us isolated and have a negative effect on our diplomacy. Effect after our plan, we abolish the death penalty, Japan can be the majority of the world and answer the request from other countries. Two, we will be able to take a smooth discussion when doing the diplomacy. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the amount of trade between EU and Japan accounts for 36% in the world. We can expect it for further extension. Three, we can make more treaty to prevent crime after plan. That it's better to prevent crime like international one. In fact, Japan can be a friendly nation which can with other countries. It makes our society better in various aspects.
Okay. Thank you. Now we will have preparation time for 1 minute.
いいね。
インパクトは私もタイマーに聞いてもらえてたんだよね。じゃあさ、なんと後にさ10秒数えなきゃいけないじゃん。10秒までは。そうか。あとすべて。始まってるぞ。30秒。
We will have question time from negative side.
Please center.
So let me ask some questions. First of all, as for your area 2, is it important that friendly nation with other foreign countries by this penalty? Is it important? Okay. What will be better after the abolishing this penalty? What will be better?
Now, extradition policy. Now Japan has extradition policy. So extradition policy.
What is extradition policy?
If the foreigner run away, let's go
Okay. You mean you believe that criminals will escape from Japan? Okay.
escape the foreign countries will not hand over.
Okay. And do you know that 80% of Japanese people don't want to abolish the death penalty? Do you know that? 80%, the majority. 80%. Okay. Yeah. So you mean relationship with other countries is more better than the opinion of Japanese citizens? You believe? No? Really? Okay.
Stop. Thank you. Now, どこまでいったかな? Now we will have Negative side constructive speech for 4 minutes.
Okay, I'm a constructive speaker of the negative side. Let me start my speech. Year 1, death penalty as a deterrence. A present situation. First, death penalty is the heaviest punishment now in Japan. It works as a deterrence to serious crime. In terms of deterrence, there are two types of it. The one is deterrence to prevent first serious crime. The other is deterrence to prevent murder, to commit again the crime, or we say it's second conviction. Second, deterrence to prevent first serious crime. According to Ernest van den Haag, the professor at Fordham University, who has studied the question of deterrence closely, wrote, quote, "Capital punishment is likely to deter more than other punishments because people fear death more than anything else. They fear most death deliberately inflicted by law and scheduled by the courts," unquote. It means that there can be some people who would be a criminal, fear death, so they did not commit crime. Third, deterrence to keep murder to second conviction. For the reason stated above, we can stop criminal to commit a serious crime, but of course, not all criminal cannot be deterred. Most of murder, especially the murder sentenced death penalty, has no normal mental, or we can say they are psychopaths, and they are likely to commit a crime again. According to, we have death penalty now, so there is no criminal who was released and recommit serious crime. B, effect. If we abolish the death penalty, there won't be any counterpart law. With only other law, like life in prison, there are some possibility to rise the crime rate. In fact, there are some countries like Britain and France which went up the crime rate after abolishing capital punishment. Also, we mentioned above by quoting Professor Hodgins, if we abolish this system, there is a possibility that criminal can go out of prison and commit a crime again. We cannot deter by life sentence the second conviction. C, impact. The deterrence to a serious crime will disappear and it will rise the number of serious crime. Year 2, the criminal will not be judged appropriately. A present situation. According to Asahi newspaper, now 80% of Japanese people agree with the death penalty. The laws are reflected the citizens' opinion. Second, what is more, the victim's family desire the death penalty. We have to think about them because they are the people who are damaged and compensated by the crime. And according to Zenkoku Higaisha-no-Kai, victims' family really want the criminals to be dead. Also, according to Hanzai Hakusho, in 1996, 73.3% of victims' family thinks of that. 73.3%. Third, now serious crime criminals are judged appropriately. Even punishment is given what kind of crimes the criminal committed. So the criminal who are sentenced to the death penalty have a hand in the most serious crime. B, effect. After abolishing the death penalty, we are going to be against Japanese citizens' consensus, which make our law, and victims' families' feelings as well. Also, there will be no punishment that the criminals are judged appropriately. C, impact. Japanese people's argument will be ignored, and the criminals won't be judged appropriately. It means the system will be collapsed. The 81 is about the death penalty as a deterrence, and the criminal won't be judged appropriately.
Thank you. Now we will have preparation time for 1 minute. Preparation time の時にさ、消した方がいいのかな。 よくわかんないね。たった1分だけだからいいかなって思っちゃうけど。
確かに本当に
なんか忘れそうだもんね。
動作増やしちゃうと大変だから。
あ、2分の時に消せばいいかな。
そう。
1分測ってる。1分測ってる。
測ってる。
あ、大丈夫。Now we will have question time from affirmative side for 2 minutes.
I am a summary speaker of affirmative side. So let me ask some questions. First, is it enough? Don't you think it is enough the life imprisonment after plan?
We don't think so.
Okay. Second, which is more important? We may kill the innocent people who then the criminals will commit the crime again.
There's no evidence that there is no case that innocent people gets killed by the death penalty.
Is
in
it
Japan.
true?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you said that the families of the killed people
Yeah.
really want to be the death penalty for the criminals, but do you know the percent or the case, the Japanese death penalties numbers?
How many families want to?
No, but the rate of death penalty out of the all criminals, crime.
No, we don't have any information about it.
Okay.
Do you have?
Is it so important to save the people's opinion?
Yeah, of course.
So, thank you.
Thank you. どこまでやったっけ？
次が
プリパレーションだよね。
プレパレーショ
Now
ン
we will have preparation time for 2 minutes.
さっきのクエスチョン3つだよね。
1、2、3、4最後に4つ。
はい、そうだ。アイディアがイノセント、必要な人を助けるってイギリス語は他の国での環境を良くする。
英語で書いた方がいいったら言ってました。
2分だったから消せばよかった。あと何分？
はい、あと45秒。このまま行きましょう。
Time is up. Now we will have なんだ negative side attack speech for 3 minutes.
Yes, you.
頑張って
Okay, let me start my negative attack. First, there 82. Now, today, USA, Russia, and China have the death penalty, so it is hard to believe we can get any positive diplomatic effect without these countries, especially USA. And also, they didn't show how many people escaped from Japan until now, so some of their 82 part is not important. And their 81, there is no innocent people who killed by the law today, so it is not likely to happen. And there okay, I will repeat my attack. Today, USA, Russia, and China have the death penalty, so it is hard to believe we can get any positive diplomatic effect without these countries, especially USA, because we have a strong relationship between USA. And the process of death penalty is very complicated, and we do a lot of trials, so it is not likely to happen the wrong decision by the judge. So their 81 is not likely to happen. And if we abolish death penalty, Japan will be an unsafe place, as we said in our constructive speech. Yes. We have, nowadays science is developing, and so there is a fingerprint and so on. So, yeah. Wrong decision will not happen.
Thank you.
Very much.
Now we will have affirmative side attack speech for 3 minutes.
No.
Oh, sorry. Question time か。Sorry. ごめん。Question time from affirmative side for 2 minutes.
Let me ask some questions.
Yes.
So first, your attack is 4 points, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then second, in your third attack, you said there are no people who proved innocent after his or her execution.
Actually, I said there is no people who killed.
But don't you think that's because there are no one who can try to retrial after his or her execution? How do you think about that?
They are trying to retrial, and they're still.
So I'd like to move next question. Sorry. So you said in your first attack,
Yes.
the process to decide death penalty is so complex. Is
Yes.
that right? Are there any special system to decide death penalty or not?
No, we mean that the process of death penalty, deciding death penalty is very long, and we are
So compared to what?
compared to the other decision.
Is that right? Can you prove that? So in this context, we don't know the process of death penalty so complex. So we can't say. I think we can't say you're false attack. Don't you think so?
No,
Okay. So
of course.
so and in your second attack,
Yes.
you said we can't prove that. We didn't say there are how many people who escape, how many criminals who escaped overseas. So it's not importance. You say so.
Yes.
And then, but do you think is it important to try to prevent crime as an international skill?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question.
Thank you. Now we will have attack speech from affirmative side for 3 minutes. それからなんかいろんなことに集中してたらなんか取れないね。ちょっと最後に任せる。頑張って。
I am an attacker of affirmative side, so let me start my speech of attack. I'll attack first for the negative side, DA1. Honestly, we can't clearly say that death penalty can or cannot prevent people from committing crimes because each country has its own situation, like religion and politics. And however, for example, according to Mr. Suzuki of National Library, in 1981, French abolished the death penalty, but there was no gap between before and after abolishing the death penalty. This is a specific example in which the existence of death penalty couldn't always work as a deterrence. And the next I attack the DA2 of the negative side. In Japan, the victim family hope for the death penalty to the prisoner is very little. So after the plan of negative side, we can't hope the change of victim families' feeling. And it's not true that all the families of victims really want crimes to die. For example, Harada Masaharu, one of the families of victims, is a man who is struggling with finding the other way to deal with the murderer. His younger brother was run over by a truck on purpose. However, he says the criminal should live longer in order to make up for his crime and to find the other way together. So the feeling of people who are like Mr. Harada can't be appreciated with this penalty. If victim family cannot be satisfied with the situation in which the criminals die as a person. In addition, considering the situation in which all murderers are not judged to be executed, conducting this penalty by accepting the feeling of one of victim families may lead us to neglecting the feeling of other victim families, which cannot make criminals executed.
Thank you. Now we will have question time from negative side for 2 minutes.
Let me ask some questions. And first, what your last attack. Could you summary your last attack?
Last attack, okay. After the negative attacks, negative size plan, we still can't make up for the victim families' feeling.
You cannot relax the victim's family. So you said if we do this penalty, the victim's family's feelings wouldn't be relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any evidence that victim's family hopes this penalty is wrong? Do you have any evidence?
Sorry, evidence is not detailed, but about 2% I saw.
Okay. And 76% we. Since Japanese. You said there's no deterrence of this penalty, but do you know there's a country that after abolishing this penalty, the rate of crime is increased?
Yes, I know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will have preparation time for 2 minutes.嘘。
調べないで監視し行った方がいいですか。
マジで手厳しい。シビア。でもね、ここ増えるってよく聞いた。
クエスチョンじゃなくて。
クエスチョンごめん。アタックね。1、2、3かな。
あれ3かな。
あ、じゃないでも2つ。で長かった。2つ目が長かった。2つ。はい。ごめん。プリパレーションタイム結構暇じゃん、ちょっとで。だからその時にこのスト取ったじゃん。で、こう横に見ていって、でアタックが何個あったかなとか見て、このアタックはこの AD、ここだったら AD2 の多分アボリッシュだから、この国の関係のことの部分にアタックしてるんだなとか言って、こうつなげていって。で後で見返した時にこの議論はここでどうアタックされてこの後どうディフェンスされたかみたいなのが見やすいように整理しておくとどっちが強いですかどっちしやすいかな
I got it.
Thank you. Now we will have defense speech from affirmative side for 3 minutes.
I'm a South speaker of affirmative side. So, and in this speech, I will reply their all false point. In their second speech is all point. So, I try to reply the speeches in order. So let me start my speech. First, they said there is a country who has a death penalty, like huge country, especially like USA and Russia and China. So first of all, I'd like to mention individual countries' case. So in USA, we believe that the system of death penalty depends on the state. So first of all, we can say USA do have a death penalty, and then still USA and China is a huge country, bigger than Japan. I mean, in this context, they are okay about diplomacy because they are bigger than Japan. But we think we have to follow the international rule, and we have to make the international law in such a small country. It's a country like Japan. So first of all, what they say is somehow untrue, and still Japan is smaller than such a country, so we have to follow. In second, they said in our effect 3, there are no number of crimes who escaped overseas, so they said there are no importance, but we don't think so, because if the number is unclear, we think we need to make a system to prevent the crime in international scale. So maybe it prevents crimes like 911 in Japan or something like that. And then number 3, they said there are no cases which found false accusation after execution. But actually, we have a case in England. It was called Evans case. Anyway, yeah, in this case, it was a false accusation according to our evidence. And so what I want to say is there is a case about that in England, and the reason why there are no cases in Japan is there are no one who tried to retrial after execution. So the attack is untrue. And number 4, they said the process to decide death penalty is so complex. But so then why there are so many people who challenge the retrial in their prison? They haven't explained about that. And even though the decision was made by human beings are creatures who makes mistakes. That's it.
Thank you. Now we will have negative side defense speech for 3 minutes.
次行きましょう。
Speaker.
大丈夫ですか。開始。
Okay, I'm in negative defense. Let me start my speech. And first, they say there is no deterrence of death penalty, but we also have evidence that that was increased the rate of criminal. So, and there is also no evidence that death penalty can't deterrence. And second, and affirmative side said victims' family don't hope death penalty, but we have evidence that 76% victims' family want to death penalty. But affirmative side didn't show any evidence, so our evidence is stronger than theirs. And third, affirmative side said there are some people who don't want to death penalty. However, opinions of those people are also considered in the court under the current system. And fourth, since Japan, they say the citizens' opinion is less important than relation with other country, but since Japan is democratic country, it is important to take opinions of the Japanese people, and also not only victims' family, but also the majority of people want to keep this penalty. And fifth, as long as the number shows the deterrence of this penalty, affirmative side can't deny the possibility of increasing serious crime. As for year one, even if the evidence of UK and France cannot prove the deterrence, there are several cases that criminals who were released from life imprisonment committed serious murders. I said again, there are several cases that criminals who were released from life imprisonment committed serious crime again. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will have preparation time for 2 minutes.
シリアスクライムのやつ。
世論を無視するのは民主的な方法じゃないよねっていう。
Thumbs up. Now we will have affirmative side summary speech for 3 minutes.
I'm a summary speaker of affirmative side. Let me start my speech. First, our AD1 is to save innocent people from the false accusation. There are possibility that innocent people will be killed, as well as humans give the judgment. Also, prisoners may be killed even if they are requesting their retrial. And we have the evidence that in England, the person was killed, even though he was innocent. And our 82 is getting on the world floor for improvement of diplomacy. The number of countries which had abolished this penalty is increasing in recent years. And over half of the world disagree with this penalty, and the negative side said that USA and Russia and China have this penalty, but USA has basically strong power, so it is not. It has not relation with Japan. And the attack, and they attacked our ADs. The death penalties process is complicated, so there is a little. We don't worry about forced acquisition, but we want to say that although DNA system improved, but judgment is still taken by humans. We can't say that they are always right. And they said that majority of Japanese people agree and want to continue this penalty, but there were no referendum about this penalty. So it has a little reliance. So our ADs have, in summary, our ADs have bigger effect on Japan. So we believe that this penalty definitely should be abolished. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is negative side summary speech for 3 minutes.
I'm a summary speaker of negative side. Let me start my speech. First of all, our D1 is this penalty as a deterrent, and D2 is the criminal will not be judged appropriately, and D1 is saving innocent people, abolishing this penalty will save innocent people, and D2 is abolition of the death penalty brings the diplomatic effect to the country. And compared with 81 and D1, since there is no case that innocent people get killed by this penalty, so 81 has no importance compared to these advantages we mentioned. And also, they attacked to our deterrence, but there is also no evidence that this penalty cannot deter criminal cannot. That this penalty cannot deter criminals. So it means we cannot compare the safety of nation and the safety of criminals. And also, and we believe prevent people who will commit serious crime is much important, saving innocent people. And as compared with the 82 and the relationship, Japanese citizens' opinion is much more important than relationship with other countries, because Japan, as we said in defense, since Japan is a democratic country, it is important to take opinions of the Japanese citizens to please think about which is important, the nation's opinion or other relationship with other countries. Thank you.
Thank you.お疲れ様でした。ジャッジしてくるので待っててください。はい。はい。ありがとう。